Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video I got the engine out, but I also I got it out in good time, so I just carried on. Good news, all the cylinders are fine. There's no damage to any of the cylinder walls or anything, no chunks out of the piston. Obviously it needs a good clean up, which I will do. I've also got all the parts, so the fault we had was on cylinder 2, and there we go. Hang on, there you go. Burnt out valve. So I've got some valves, so we'll get down and strip the head and replace the valve. Once the head is off, guys, the first thing to do is to remove all the buckets that sit on top of the valve springs. I also put these in order so I know which ones they go on. Once that's done, you can use a spring compressor like what I have here. I bought this on eBay or Amazon. I think it was about 20 quid. It weren't expensive, and that then allows the spring to be pressed, and then you can remove the collet. Normally a magnet, that'll just pop them off, and obviously keep these together because you can quite easily lose them. Again, once the spring's off, I'd always put them in the same order so you know which spring goes to which valve, etc. But once the spring's off, it's then just a case of pushing down on the valve. You'll be able to pop it off, and then you can see the damage. As you can see here, there is a chunk missing out the side of it, and that is causing the misfire. Obviously lack of compression, and that'll do it. So you can see the seat face, they're a bit minging, so once I get the new ones on, I do lap them in, and obviously I have replaced the valve stem oil seals as well. I've replaced all the valve stem oil seals, just because obviously you buy them in a pack of however many. Now here you have sort of lapping paste, and you put it around the base of the valve seat and on the valve, and you'll see in a minute you sort of lap them in to get a nice seal, and you can tell the difference because it will be black, and then once you've lapped in a good seal, you will have a silver ring around the outside of it. So you can just see the paste there on the valve. Once it's in, just pop it in. You get this tool and you just work it back and forth, lifting it up, and in a minute, once I remove it, you will see there is a nice seal and a silver ring around the valve seat. Obviously you just want to make sure you've got a good seal reeler. So once the new valve's in and you're happy with the seat, the next thing is just a case of obviously putting the valve spring on, and then it's a case of reinstalling the collets. Now these can be difficult, there's a few ways of doing it. Obviously first you've got to compress the spring, small magnetic screwdriver, or normally I just put a bit of grease on the end of the screwdriver and just get them into place, and once you lift it up, as you can see, the valve spring is then held in place. Once that's done, all I've done then is just cleaned up the head, so clean up all the surfaces, ready for the new gaskets, get any old sealant off, etc. So obviously you've got your inlet manifold, your exhaust manifold, the face of the head I've just give a quick clean up, and then obviously the side where the timing chain goes, just give that a clean up of all the old sealant, ready for when the new timing cover goes on, ready for it all to be sealed up again. Once all that's done, again just a case of cleaning off, getting off all the crap, to be honest. I just use a tin of brake spray to clean it up. I know it's not perfect, I know it's not the ideal conditions for rebuilding an engine, but I can assure you that I'm as careful as I can be. Once everything goes on, I'm just double checking absolutely everything to make sure I've not forgot everything, make sure everything's going back in the right place. I mean, I do know the engine, so I suppose I have got that to my advantage, where I do know where everything should go. But once it's clean, I'm happy with it. The next thing is to put the buckets on top of the valve springs. So as you can see here, I've just got a tin of fresh oil. I'm just coating them in oil, and then obviously I'm putting them into place. Again, you don't have to do this, but I just like to do it. Making sure each bucket goes on top of the correct spring, which, you know, in reverse order. Again, I can see that it's not ideal conditions for it, but I make sure that I've given them a clean with a rag, then put them in the oil to just get a bit of oil in there so they're already primed. And again, put it on the right spring, making sure that they go on the same valve that they came off. Again, as you can see how easy it pushed down then, it should just push down nice and easy. So once I've done that and I know that the head is ready for going on, I basically just give the surface of the block a clean, obviously give the pistons a clean. I've not gone mad with them because I don't want to take off anything that I shouldn't. It's just a case of just getting it as clean as I can. Again, some people might say I shouldn't do this, or it needs to be skimmed, etc. Yeah, in some cases it does, but I've done this before and I've never had a problem with it. If obviously I did have a problem with it, then you know that's my own fault and I'd have to strip it down and go from there, but I never have. Obviously, unless it's overheated. If it's overheated and it's warped, then yeah, definitely. So once I'm happy with the surface of the block, I'm ready for the head gasket. Now on these, you can, on there where I've just mounted my finger and on the other side, you do need to put a bit of sealant. It does say this in the Kia like workshop manual, so you put a bit of sealant there under the gasket, and then again on the top, literally just a bead across there. It's only a small amount, but in a minute you will see that, you know, I do attach it. And again, another thing that I like to do is just make sure that cylinder 1 is at top dead center. Just again, ready for when I'm coming to put the chain on. I know that the crank is in the right position. All I've got to do then is set the cams, and again, I know where that is. So as you can see here, I'm just putting a small bead, that's all it is, and then I just smooth it out with my finger just to make sure that it's gone along that edge.